Alright, you guys, start off by saying Shalom. All praises to the Most High. Shabbat Shalom. Hopefully everybody's having a great evening so far. I'll open it up for news like always. If anybody have anything they would like to share with the group, we can go into it right now at this time. Anybody at this time? Anybody want to share anything? The terrorist attacks on the French. From my understanding, something else happened again today. Who?
The one that attacked that.
Okay.
The two that had the first attack on the cartoonist killed. And then there was another attack in the kosher market where they killed 4 people and then one of the gunmen was killed, and then another girl was on the loose.
Wow. And then something happened, what, 3 days ago, right? 2 days ago, where 12 people were killed.
Yeah, those are the 12 cartoonists.
12 cartoonists? What do you mean when you say cartoonists?
The people who draw the satire cartoonists for the newspapers and stuff like that, and a lot of them had insults in the past against like the groups or whatever, stuff like that.
Wow. So and from my understanding, they already had sent out a couple of threats letting them know that was going to happen on Tuesday or whatever, on Monday when that happened. I don't know what sparked it, but I know over the last few months letters already gone out saying if you guys do such and such or something happens, we're going to do this, and they did just that. So can't take these guys lightly. And we all know, America's and the French are in the same bed. They kind of do the same things. They cover each other's backs, if that makes sense. So whatever's going on with them, America's going to get involved. And you guys, one thing I do know is that we are getting close to I don't know what to call it, but we're getting close to something. And due to prophecy in the Bible, you have a lot of different things that are coming to pass right now in our days, in our time. And when you start adding it all up, you guys, we're getting close to a big change, government wise. And that big change, you guys, I promise, is not going to be a good change for you and I. Alright? Now, it's not going to be a good change for nobody, but a lot of people don't realize that because they follow the government. Alright? And since you follow the government and you believe in everything the government says, you don't realize the change and how big it is until your soul is actually up for judgment day. And that's the point we're getting to, is because now the things that the government has done to you and I over the years, you still have a chance to repent and get away from it. Okay? Just like them not draining the blood out of meat. Just the clothes they have you wearing, they have you sinning against the Most High. But you can repent and get away from those type of things. But now the big bang that the government is coming is they bringing that chip along with that Obamacare. And once you get that chip, you can repent all you want. Okay? You can talk until you can't talk no more and ask for forgiveness. But the moment you get that chip, the Bible says you no longer can be saved. So this new thing that's about to hit the world here in the next couple of years, it can happen this year. This is Obama's last year. It can happen Hillary Clinton's first year. Okay? But one thing I do know, it's going to happen soon. Alright? That change. Now, I'm not saying the end of the world is coming, but that change alone is about to hit. Okay? Whether you or I like it or not, it's going to tap in. Everything's chipped. They got the phone now. The phone, you can just go and just hit it on something. Credit card paid. Your license now. Okay? Your license is chipped. These new licenses that you go to in DMV right now, your license is chipped. Everything is chipped. So now that your TV is chipped, everything is chipped. So once they get everything around you and your surroundings chipped, then they're going to turn and say, okay, now it's time to chip them. See, right now, you just got to look at everything around you. They're chipping everything around you. Everything that you own is now chipped. And they've done it all over the last 6 months or to a year. And once they're done, let's chip them up so you can coincide with your electronics. Okay? So you have to be smart. You can't be naive to what's going on. Any other news? Anybody? All right, anybody online wants to share anything? No? Okay, so the terrorist acts that we see going on in France and in those areas is nothing new under the sun, you guys. I wouldn't, like I say, everything that's starting to happen, I wouldn't doubt it if they are allowing it to happen. It just gives them a reason to go ahead and get closer and closer to their agenda. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started tonight. Tonight's lesson, we're going to go into the journey of a Nazarite. So the Nazarite Journey is what we'll call it. We did a lesson about 6 weeks ago on Nazarites and what a Nazarite is. All right, and how Nazarites are different from anybody else in the world. Okay, so tonight we'll just break down, now that everybody knows what a Nazarite is, we'll go into it a little more tonight, again what we went over 6 weeks ago. But tonight we'll break down the journey. So if somebody says, hey, well, I want to become a Nazarite, then this is what we're going to talk about tonight. What I think for this group, since we're called Nazarites Without Walls, what our journey can be to become a Nazarite for the Most High. All right. So, but before we go into that, I want to take 5 minutes to let everybody know, just like what I was talking about, we're close to the Big Bang. Something's going to happen. Obama, this is his last year. All right. And when you read Jeremiah and Revelations, and it talks about in the last days, the men of Babylon, which is talking about America, they're going to be feeble. They're going to be like women that travaileth with child. Y'all know that scripture says it many times. And you guys, so if Obama is not the person that's going to take us out, then it's going to be Hillary Clinton. Okay, because Hillary Clinton, a woman in charge, and all that is just destruction. So we're close, you guys. So I want to start putting together a board, people who really care about the aspect of fleeing from America. All right, and it's serious to them. And I want to start putting together a board with this group to where once a week we start focusing on how to flee America. All right, and we take steps. And not only do we take steps, but we find ways to start getting extra food, sleeping bags, tents. We start finding a way to do that stuff. And then come May, early June, I want to take camping trips as a group. We go up north and we take a trip up there for like 2-3 days as a group, and we learn how to live out there as a group with the supplies that we take, and we learn how to come together as a community. So these are the things that we have to learn how to start doing. That way, when that day comes, boom, we are all not looking at each other with an ignorant face. Okay, because what's going to happen is if you're not prepared and that day comes, boom, you're going to go into panic mode. And when you go into panic mode is going to make you do things that you don't want to do because you're not prepared. But if you're prepared and that day comes, boom, now you have a plan in place. You're a little more prepared. Now the Spirit will at least guide you in the way that you've already prepared for. But if there's no preparation and boom, panic mode, now you're going to have the spirit of Satan, because now all you're going to do is be panicking and you're going to have negative seed, and nothing good comes out of negative. So think about it through the lesson, and at the end of the lesson I'll bring it back up, and I want to know who's serious about it. And we put together like a little board, and once a week Even if we just got to open the line for 20, 35 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes, like on a Thursday night or something, and we talk about some things and just start putting it together, you guys. And because every family is not going to be able to afford 5 sleeping bags or afford what the other family is going to be able to do. But if we all start coming together now as a community effort and putting some things together, then we won't get left behind. All right? And that's what we're going to start the lesson off with tonight, to show you the importance of preparation. Because if you're not prepared, you're going to get left behind. All right? All right, so tonight's lesson is called the Nazarite Journey. But we're going to start off with what will happen to you if you're not prepared. Let's go to Matthew 25:1. So remember, you guys, you have to get your spirit in a realm to where you know it's time to get ready. You can't keep playing around with what's going on here in America and thinking that you're going to be saved. Because the Most High says it way too many times in His Bible that He has a serious vengeance on this place. Alright? And all His artillery and everything that He's putting against this place will come to pass, whether you believe it or not. Okay? So we're going to teach ourselves tonight how to prepare ourselves for the journey spiritually so we can get ourselves correct. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Matthew, chapter 25, verse 1. It says, "Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom."
All right, break down the word virgins.
We have virgins. It is G3933. Virgins is G3933. And we have Parthenos. Parthenos. It is a maiden, an unmarried daughter, virgin.
Okay. So in Matthew 25:1, it says, "Then shall the kingdom of heaven be like unto 10 virgins." And when you break down the word virgins right there, it says a maiden, unmarried daughter. You and I have been taught that anybody can be a virgin. Somebody that has not had sex yet is a virgin. A young man can be a virgin. Until he has sex, he's a virgin. So the same thing with the lies that they brought in, all the way down to a virgin. A virgin can only be a woman. A virgin can only be a lady that is unmarried. That's what it's talking about there. It's not talking about a man. All right. So these 10 virgins that's been spoken of in Matthew 10:1 are speaking of women. It's not speaking of men. Okay. But when you go to these churches, they'll try to, I bet you a preacher will tell you, oh, it's talking about men here too. No, it's talking about women. Read it again.
We're in Matthew, St. Matthew, chapter 25, verse 1. It says, "Then shall the kingdom of heaven be likened unto 10 virgins, which took their lamps and went forth to meet the bridegroom. And 5 of them were wise, and 5 were foolish. They that were foolish took their lamps, and took no oil with them."
So it says you had 10 virgins. 5 of those virgins were wise, and 5 of them were fools. And the 5 fools, they took their lamps, but no oil with them. Verse 4.
Verse 4. "But the wise took oil in their vessels with their lamps. While the bridegroom tarried, they all slumbered and slept. And at midnight there was a cry made."
So it says, so the wise, they took oil for their lamps. Okay? And it said, while the bridegroom tarried, we're going to find out who the bridegroom is. But it says when he tarried, tarry means take his time. So when the bridegroom tarried, when he took his time, they all slumbered and slept. So they all, this is what they doing. So since the bridegroom is taking his time, all right, they're lackadaisical then. They all slumbered and slept. So now they taking it easy then. Instead of being on top of their game, you know what I'm saying, and getting ready for the battle, they taking their time then. Well, if the bridegroom's taking his time, we're gonna take our time. All right. Verse 6.
Verse 6, St. Matthew chapter 25, verse 6 says, "And at midnight there was a cry made, Behold, the bridegroom cometh, go ye out to meet him."
So now that the bridegroom has come, hey, you guys, let's go out and meet him.
Verse 7, "Then all of those virgins arose and trimmed their lamps. And the foolish said unto the wise, Give us your oil, for our lamps are gone out. But the wise answered, saying, Not so, lest there be not enough for us and you. But go ye rather to them that sell, and buy for yourselves."
So now that the bridegroom is coming, they see he's here, and they've been taking their time and, you know what I'm saying, just being lackadaisical. Then the foolish went to the wise and said, "Hey, can you give us some oil for our lamps?" And the wise was like, "Nah, you go to the store and get your own." All right. But that's what it means when they said they slumbered and slept. They could have already, even though the bridegroom was taking his time, they could have got up and went and got the oil and been ready and prepared before the bridegroom even came. But now that the bridegroom is here, they're asking the other women, can they have oil? And they said, no. What did the other one tell them to do? Go to the store. Verse 10.
We're in verse 10. St. Matthew chapter 25 verse 10 says, "And while they went to buy, the bridegroom came, and they that were ready went in with him to the marriage, and the door was shut. Afterward came also the other virgins, saying, Most High, open to us. But he answered and said, Verily, I say unto you, I know you not. Watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour wherein the Son of Man cometh."
So the 5 foolish women, when they left to go to the store to get their oil for their lamps, once the bridegroom came, the bridegroom took the 5 wise ones, and took them to the marriage and shut the door. So when the 5 foolish ones came back, they said, Yeshaya, open up to us. And he answered and says, Verily I say unto you, I don't know who y'all are. It's too late. It's too late. You had a chance to get yourself together. Now that I'm here, you want to try to run and get ready? He says, it's too late. I don't know you. You had a chance to build that relationship with me before I came. Before I came and closed all this down, you had a chance to build that relationship with me. That's why I keep telling you guys, get out of the flesh, get in the spirit, and build that relationship with the Messiah right now. Because if you don't, when he comes, you can't run and try to build it. He says, watch therefore, for ye know neither the day nor the hour when I'm coming. So you need to be ready. Okay? So women, all the way to men, you too though. But it's different because women, it's a little harder for you guys. Satan comes to you guys right now first. Alright? But everybody, you must be ready. Alright? Just like Isaiah 4:1, it says women in the last days are going to be running trying to get the truth because they're reproach. You have to get it right now. Get prepared, women. Don't be one of these 5 foolish women that's taking time, your whole life in the flesh, and then you're going to try to run in the end day and get right, and you're going to get left behind. Don't be one of those women. Okay? Let's talk about the men now. Verse 14.
We're in St. Matthew chapter 25 verse 14. It says, "For the kingdom of heaven is as a man traveling into a far country, who called his own servants and delivered unto them his goods."
So this is talking about the Messiah coming from a far country to deliver goods to his servants. So like authority, he's coming to give us our authority. He's coming to give us our work. All right. What is it that we're going to do on this earth? The Messiah comes from a far country to give us our work, what it is that we need to do as servants. Verse 15. That's what it means when it says deliver unto them his goods. He's going to come give you what you need. Go ahead.
Verse 15. It says, and unto one he gave 5 talents, to another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability, and straightway took his journey.
So talents means ability. That's what it says. Until he gave one 5 talents, and unto another 2, and to another 1, to every man according to his several ability. So the talents is the abilities, that the gifts that the Most High give you. Every man is different. Okay, one man, he could only thing he know how to do is maybe teach. He don't know how to research. He probably don't know how to talk to the people. He maybe just know how to teach. All right, but we all are different. We all maybe have 2 talents according to the Most High, and then some of us might have 5, 6 talents where we can do multiple things according to the Most High. But everybody ain't the same though. But he says, hey, he comes and he gives us all certain talents to do. All right, yours might be 2, mine might be 1. All right, 16.
Verse 16. We're in St. Matthew chapter 25, verse 16. It says, then he that had received the 5 talents went and traded with the same, and made them other 5 talents.
So the person that had 5 talents, he went and did the same, traded and did some work and doubled his talents. Go ahead.
Verse 17. And likewise he that had received 2, he also gained other 2. But he that received 1 went and digged in the earth and hid his Most High's money. After a long time, the Most High of those servants cometh and reckoneth with them. And so he that had received 5 talents came and brought other 5 talents, saying, Most High, thou deliverest unto me 5 talents. Behold, I have gained beside them 5 talents more. His power said unto him, well done, thou good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into the joy of thy power. Verse 22. He also that had received 2 talents came and said, Most High, thou deliverest unto me 2 talents. Behold, I have gained 2 other talents beside them. His power said unto him, well done, good and faithful servant. Thou hast been faithful over a few things. I will make thee ruler over many things. Enter thou into thy joy of thy power.
So the 2 guys that doubled their talents, the 5 and the 2, the Most High says, my faithful servant. Okay? And I will make you ruler over many things, and I have joy for thee. Okay? So he says, well done. You took what I gave you, and you went and used it and doubled it. Alright? I like that. Go ahead. Verse 24.
We're in St. Matthew, chapter 25, verse 24. It says, then he which had received the 1 talent came and said, Most High, I knew thee that thou art an hard man, reaping where thou hast not sown, and gathering where thou hast not straw. And I was afraid, and went and hid thy talent in the earth. Lo, there thou hast that it is thine. His power answered and said unto him, Thou wicked and slothful servant, thou knewest that I reap where I sow not, and gather where I have not straw. Thou oughtest therefore to have put my money to the exchangers, and then at my coming I should have received my own with usury.
So the guy that didn't double his money or his talent, he put it in the earth. And Yeshaya comes back and says, you serious? You didn't increase anything? There's nothing for me when I come back. It's the same. You didn't produce. You didn't go reach no one else. Break down usury.
We have usury. It is G5110. Usury is G5110. And it is Tiketo. And it is spelled Tikto. Tikto. And it is interest on money loan.
So usury is interest on money loan. So Yeshaya says, you wicked and slothful servant. You know it's that I reap what I sow. And you don't when I was coming, you gave my money to the exchangers. Alright, you went and did what you wanted with those guys, the exchangers. The exchangers is broker, bankers. That's what the exchangers is. So you went and inherit your money into them instead of doing and doubling it for me. Okay, so there's work to be done. All right, in time of waiting. Even though you're waiting, you can't be an idle or unemployed. All right, so the Most High came and gave you these talents, and even though He's not here yet, you can't just be sitting here waiting with these talents. What are you sitting here waiting for? You need to go put those talents to use and get to work. All right, and every talent is held responsible, held accountable for what they need to do. You can't lean on somebody else and say, okay, well, I'm with this person and I know this person is going to be getting it in and working, so I'm going to just chill. No, you can't go off the back of somebody else. You have to double your work. So that's when the Most High come and give you talent. So it says, all right, brother KG, I'm going to give you the talent to teach. I'm going to give you the talent to research. I'm going to give you the talent to reach out to people and lead. But brother KG can't just sit there with those talents and know that the Most High is coming giving those, and then he just studies on his own and teach himself. No, he needs to go out and everything that he knows, he needs to go out and teach it to any and everybody else that he can reach. Don't be stingy. Oh, the Most High gave you 4 talents, but I'm going to just go out and teach people 1. No, you go out and you teach and you show people everything you know. That way when Yeshaya comes back, everybody knows everything. Does that make sense? You won't just have one person that knows all this and then the rest of the community just know a few things. No, he wants everybody to know what you know so we all can bounce and keep growing. That's how you grow. All right, Matthew 24:42.
We're in the book of St. Matthew.
But you have to work. You can't just sit back and be one of those people and say, well, I know I got the truth now. The Most High gave you the talent and bless you to learn things and pick this up, but then you just sit back. No, you have to go out and double your works. Make more people like you. Go ahead.
We're in the book of St. Matthew, chapter 24, verse 42. It says, watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your power doeth come. But know this, that if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would have not suffered his house to be broken up. Therefore, be ye also ready, for in such an hour as ye think not, the Son of Man cometh.
So he says, listen, a good man of the house had knoweth and watch when the thief come. All right? That way he will not suffer his house to be broken into. So someone that's prepared, someone that's on watch, a thief can't get him because he's already on point. But if somebody that's lackadaisical, ain't paying attention, getting drunk, whatever, falling asleep with the back door halfway open and stuff, thief gonna come get him. You got to be on top of your game. All right, at all times, because you never know when it's coming. So the same thing in life, in the spirit, you have to be on top of it. You can't be on top of it for 2 months. Yeah, following the Most High, doing good, and then all of a sudden go backwards for like 2 weeks, hanging out with people, doing the wrong things, and then you die within that 2 weeks. He come, you done. All right, verse 45.
We're in St. Matthew chapter 24, verse 45. Who then is a faithful and wise servant, whom his power hath made ruler over his household, to give them meat in due season? Blessed is that servant, whom his power when he cometh shall find so doing. Verily, I say unto you, that he shall make him ruler over all his goods.
All right, let's go to Matthew 25 and 31. So you have to separate yourself from the world. So you can focus on the goods that he gave you. If you don't separate yourself from the world and he come and he give you all these goods, but then you still participating in the world, you'll never even realize that he came and blessed you with these goods. But if you separate yourself from the world, then you'll be like, oh, hey, what's this? What's this bag of goodies? And you'll actually open it up because you have time to open it up. But if you participate in the world, doing everything, tied up into sports, everything, you will never be able to open up that bag of goodies. You'll never know what's there. All right? 25 and 1. Yeah, Matthew. 31. I said 1.
Yeah, it's all right.
All right.
In the book of St. Matthew, chapter 25, verse 31. It says, when the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on his right hand, but the goats on the left.
So when Yeshua comes back, he's going to be doing some separating, right? Why don't you get a jump on everybody and start right now and start separating yourself right now? When he comes back, he's going to separate the righteous from the unrighteous. So why don't you take that time right now while you're still living in the flesh and say, I'm going to go ahead and separate myself right now. That way when Yeshua come back, that'll be easy on me. And that'll be easy pickings. And he says he's going to put his right hand on the sheep and then put the goats to the left. Sounds like Hades, right? The goat is going to go to the left and then the righteous people is going to go to the right. Okay? So let's go to Mark 14 and 22. So you have to separate yourselves, you guys. You have to do it yourself, though, in the flesh. You have to say, all right, you know what? I'm gonna pull myself away. And I'm going to start doing things a little different because when he comes back, that's what he's going to do anyway. So already be on it. All right? Mark 14 and 22. So we're talking about the journey of a Nazarite. All right? Go ahead.
We're in the book of Mark, chapter 14, verse 22. And it reads, and as they did eat, Yeshua took bread and blessed and brake it and gave to them and said, take, eat, this is my body. And he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them. And they all drank of it. And he said unto them, this is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many. Verily I say unto you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine, until that day that I drink it new in the kingdom of the Most High.
So Yeshua, so fruit of the vine, that's one of our key words tonight, fruit of the vine. Write it down. Yeshua came to the 12 and said, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine until the day that I drink it new in the kingdom. So tonight, through our journey as a Nazarite, you're going to find out that the fruit of the vine is one of the things that you need to get rid of. So Yeshaya did it too. Yeshaya says, hey, all right, now that I've been in my flesh in my journey with y'all and showed y'all what, now and from here on out, I'm no longer going to touch the fruit of the vine. And the next time I do touch it will be when I'm in the kingdom. So it's kind of the same for us. Let's go to the Apocrypha. Let's go to First Maccabees. First Maccabees 3:43. So now we're going to start breaking down this journey. But Yeshaya himself says, hey, now I am myself going to pull myself from the fruit of the vine so I can get into the kingdom. All right? First Maccabees 3:43.
We're in the book of First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 43. And it reads, they said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people.
So let us restore the decayed state of our people. So the people of the Most High was at a decayed state. And they said, let us restore it. So how are they going to restore it? Go ahead.
We're in the middle of verse 43. It says, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. They brought it says they brought also the priests, garments, and the first fruits, and the tithes, and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days.
So it tells you that we need to restore our people. Our people is at a decayed state. How can we restore our people? They brought in the priests, garments, and the first fruits, and the tithes, and the Nazarites they stirred up, who had accomplished their days. So it says the Nazarites, since they was accomplished, all right, they did right. So we need to restore our people by bringing in the Nazarites to show them how to do this. Read it again.
We're in verse 49.
43. Read the whole thing again.
We're in First Maccabees, chapter 3, verse 43. It says, they said one to another, let us restore the decayed estate of our people, and let us fight for our people and the sanctuary. We're down in verse 49. It says, they brought also the priests, garments, and the first fruits, and the tithes, and the Nazarites they stirred up.
So they brought in the priests, the first fruits, all right, that's a holy day, and the tithes. They brought in their tithes, and then they brought in the Nazarites, who were accomplished in their days. The Nazarites were an example. They had did what they were supposed to do. So we need to restore the people. And how do we do that? We bring in the Nazarites. All right. So now we know that the Nazarites are important. All right. Yeshaya, he says, hey, I'm going to give up the fruit of the vine until I get into the kingdom. And now right here they said we need to restore the decayed state of our people. And how do we do that? We need to bring the Nazarites in, the people that had accomplishment. They have accomplished what the Most High needed them to do in their days. We need to bring them in to get us from this decayed state. Job 33:15. So if you want to become one of these Nazarites, let's figure out how we do it. All right, let's figure out what it is that you need to get this accomplishment that it says that they had. Job 33:15. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Job, chapter 33, verse 15. It says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction.
All right, so in order to get on this journey, you need to allow this right here to happen. It says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when in deep sleep falleth upon man. So when you're asleep at night and you're in a deep sleep, a dream, and slumbers upon the bed, then he opened the ears of men and sealeth their instructions. So when you sleep at night and you're in your deep sleep, that's when the Most High comes to you. That's when he sends the Son to come give you your instructions for the next day. But if you're not hearkening to this, if you're not right as a person, if you're not doing things right as an individual, then the Most High can't come to you at nighttime. But you have to open yourself up in order for this to happen. But if you're deep into Babylon, you're doing things that you shouldn't be doing, you're not studying like you should. This is only going to happen if you're studying. If you're studying day in and day out, then he's going to come and keep giving you that vision for the next day. But if you're following after Satan, it's hard for him to come give you this instructions. Alright? Luke 24:45. So it says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when in deep sleep falleth upon man in the bed, then he opened your ears and give you your instructions. Luke 24:45.
We're in the book of Luke, chapter 24, verse 45. It reads, then open he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures.
So now that he gives you your instructions, and now that he shows you what you need to do, now he'll open their understanding that you might understand the scriptures. Okay? Now that he's come and give you your instructions when you're asleep, now he opens your understanding to where you now, when you wake up the next day, you can understand those scriptures that you're reading, those precepts. But if you're trying to read those precepts in your own, with your own understanding, then it's going to have cloudiness and confusion. All right? But if you're letting him instruct you and you're letting him guide you, now they'll make sense. Let's go to Job 36:10. So now when you start understanding his scriptures, now you'll get the discipline that you need to follow the laws and the commandments. All right? That's how it works. I understand these scriptures now. All right, now you'll get the self-discipline to now start following his laws and commandments, because now you're following the scriptures properly. All right? But if you're not following the scriptures properly, now you can't follow the laws and commandments. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Job, chapter 36, verse 10. And it reads, he openeth also their ear to discipline.
So we just got a couple of different opens. We got Job 33:16, where it says he opened their ears of man and sendeth their instructions when they're asleep. Then in Luke 24:45 says, then he opened their understanding so they can understand scriptures. Now it says right here, he opens their ear to discipline. All right, so now we got the word discipline in here. Go ahead.
I'm going to start in the beginning. Job 36:10, it says, he openeth also their ear to discipline, and commanded that they return from iniquity. If they obey and serve him, they shall spend their days in prosperity, and their years in pleasures. But if they obey not, they shall perish by the sword, and they shall die without knowledge.
So he opened their ear to discipline and said, return from sin, return from iniquity, and ask if you will serve him, obey and serve him. So he says, all right, how do you obey and serve me? By following the laws and the commandments. When you follow his laws and commandments, it will pull you away from iniquity, which is sin. How do we know that? Let's go to 1 John, let's say 3 and 4. Yeah. 1 John 3 and 4.
We're in the book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law, for sin is transgression of the law.
So it tells you right here, whoever commits a sin is breaking the law. Okay? For sin is the breaking of the law. So how do you know you're breaking the law when how do you know when you're committing sin when the preachers and the pastors nowadays are telling you you don't have to follow the law? So if you're not following the law, then you don't even know that you're sinning. Just out there just sinning, doing whatever, just, you know what I'm saying? But until you start following the laws and the commandments, you're a sinner. So that's why he says, I have opened your ear for discipline so that you can return from sin. Verse 11 in Job 36:11 says, if they obey and serve him. If they obey. But people don't do that. All right. Break down the word obey. Give them the definition for obey. The Webster.
Coming from the Webster, it is obey. And it is to comply with the commands, orders, or instructions of a superior, or with requirements of a law.
So obey, the definition of obey means to comply with commands. Alright? Orders or instructions, requirements of the law. But obey says requirements of the law and to comply with commands. Read Job 36:10 again.
We're in the book of Job, chapter 36, verse 10. It says, he openeth also their ear to discipline, and commanded that they return from iniquity.
Commanded. That's a commandment. To comply with commands. He commanded that you return from iniquity and start following these laws. Alright? Numbers 6 and 1. So you need to turn yourself over to a higher. Point blank. And start following his orders. He give you his orders. He give you commandments. You have to turn yourself over. Get away from the world. Separate from the world and start following his orders. Point blank, you guys. You can't do both. You can't say, all right, well, I follow the Most High, but then still follow the orders of the world. Well, I follow the Most High, but then every time you hear something about the police, you do this. You should, hey, there's only one person you're scared of. You're either scared of them or you're scared of him. So if you're scared of him, they laws don't mean nothing no more. Police can pull you over right now. You be like, hey, well, you not scared. Hey, what is it? Not one of them people, the police is behind me. You know what I'm saying? Nah. You don't get scared of their tactics anymore, because the Most High says, once you turn yourself over to me and follow my orders, I'm going to protect you. Okay? Numbers 6 and 1.
We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 1. And it reads, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when either man or woman shall separate themselves to vow a vow of a Nazarite, to separate themselves unto the Most High.
Break down the word vow.
We have vow. It is Hebrews 50:87. Vow is H50:87. And it is Nadar.
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 Nadar. And it is Nadar. Nadar. And it is primitive root to promise, positively, to do or give something to the Most High.
So vow means to promise or to give something to the Most High. So it says in verse 2, when either a man or a woman shall separate themselves, so separate themselves from the world, to vow a vow of a Nazarite. So make the vow of a Nazarite. So to make the promise to give something to the Most High like a Nazarite. So that's why when we read in Maccabees, they say, hey, we need to get ourselves away from this decayed state. We need to restore our people. And how do we restore our people? By bringing in the Nazarites that had accomplished their days, who had accomplished their days. And what did they accomplish? They accomplished by separating themselves from the world and vowing themselves, giving something to the Most High and sticking to it. Okay, verse 3.
We're in Numbers chapter 6, verse 3. It says, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink no vinegar of wine, or vinegar of strong drink. Neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dry.
Give them the breakdown, Strong's on wine.
We have wine. It is H3196. Wine is Hebrews 31:96. And it is Yayin. It is Yayin. Yayin. Y-A-Y-I-N, and it has effervescence.
Yeah,
Effervescence. Wine as fermented, by implication, intoxication, banqueting, wine, dibber.
So wine is intoxication. We already know what that means. Strong drink.
We have strong drink. It is H7941. Strong drink is Hebrews 79:41. We have Shekar. Shekar. It is SHEKAR. Shekar. And it is an intoxicant that is intensely alcoholic liquor.
Okay. And it says it's alcoholic liquor. Okay. So now we know intoxication, liquor. All right. Break down the word liquor.
We have liquor. It is Hebrews 49:52. Liquor is Hebrews 49:52, and we have Mishra. Mishra. And it is loosening, maceration, that is steeped juice from.
Alright. So liquor is loosening. So that's why when it says in verse 3, he shall separate himself from wine and strong drink, and shall drink of no vinegar or wine, or vinegar of strong drink, neither shall he drink any liquor of grapes, nor eat moist grapes or dry. So liquor of grapes means loosening of grapes. Alright, so smushed up grapes, how you make the liquor and stuff, anything to that matter. Don't eat no grapes, and then don't eat the grapes that they use to smush down to make the liquor or whatever drink it is. Okay, so liquor, intoxication, grapes, anything to that nature needs to be cut out if you're trying to make your vow as a Nazarite. Okay, these are the things. So this is the first step. If you say, all right, I'm going to make my vow to the Most High, I'm going to give something to him and make my vow as a Nazarite, this is the first thing you got to do, is cut out the grapes, any alcohol, any liquor. Okay, go to verse 4.
We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 4. It says, all the days of his separation shall he eat nothing that is made of the vine tree, from the kernels even to the husk.
So you remember, Yeshaya says, hey, now that I ate my bread with you and y'all drunk my blood, which is the body, now I'm going to separate myself from the fruit of the vine. You remember he said that, until I get into the kingdom. So here it goes right here. So now he says, eat nothing that is made of the vine tree. And the vine tree is the liquor tree. When you break down the word vine, it says liquor. The liquor tree. So nothing from the liquor tree. Break down kernels.
We have kernels. It is H2785. Kernels is H2785. We have sour grape, as sharp in taste.
So sour grapes, give them the word for it.
It is korax.
From H2782.
It derives from H2782. It is korax. Charax. I'll give them this.
No, you already gave that. Just give them the spelling.
It is CHARATS.
All right, so kernels is sour grape. All right, so we broke down other grapes. So these are different type of grapes. You got sweet grapes. You have sour grapes. It don't matter. All right, no grapes. Kernels is your sour grapes. All right, husk.
Husk is H2085. Husk is H2085. And it is Zog. Zog. Z-A-G. It says to enclose the skin of a grape.
The skin of the grape. So even the skin. The skin of the grapes. All right. So no matter anything dealing with the skin of the grape or anything dealing with the grapes, Even with the vine tree of the grape, he wants you to have nothing to do with it. Sweet grapes, sour grapes. Grapes with seeds, grapes with no seeds. It says no grapes. Okay? Verse 5.
Verse 5, we're in the book of Numbers. Chapter 6, verse 5, it says, all the days of the vow of his separation there shall no razor come upon his head, until the days be fulfilled, in which he separateth himself unto the Most High, he shall be holy. He shall, and shall let the locks of the hair of his head grow.
All right, now this is the tricky part as a Nazarite. So it says, in all the days of his vow of his separations, there shall be no razor come upon his head. And then it tells you that he shall let the locks of his head grow. Break down locks.
We have locks, it is H6545. Locks are H6545. And it is the hair as disheveled from H6544. And it is para.
You already get it definition.
It is PARA.
Okay. So locks and disheveled means loosen. When you break down the word disheveled, it means loosen or to let hang. Alright? That's what locks kind of mean. Disheveled. Alright, break down the word hair.
We have hair. It is H8181. Hair is H8181. And we got Ser, and it is SEAR, and it is in the sense of disheveling, hair as if tossed or bristling, hair rough.
So it says hair is disheveling again. So disheveling means to hang or let loose. Y'all see my dreads? Y'all see how they hang and they kind of loose. They're not pulled back into a ponytail. When you pull them back into a ponytail or something, it makes it tight. It makes everything tight. Loose means you're not doing nothing to it. Loose means it's not being pulled back into a ponytail or nothing like that. It's being left alone, loose, disheveled. And then it says, as if tossed or bristling. Bristling means stiff or spiky. So somebody that has stiff hair or spiky, something that hasn't been touched. That's the only way your hair can be stiff or spiky after a while, is because it hasn't been touched. And then it says rough. The word rough. So it says no razors are to come upon the head, and the locks of the hair should grow disheveled. Let them hang, and let the hair stiff up, and let the hair become spiky rough. So this means if you vow to become a Nazarite and you say, okay, I'm going to do this, it means you can't touch your hair at all. So if you say, I'm going to vow myself to be a Nazarite, however long that vow is, you can't touch the hair with the comb. You can't pull it back into a ponytail. It needs to stiff, become spiky and rough. How about that? Because when you comb it, what happens when you comb your hair and you look at the comb? There's hair in it. So it's almost like you're shaving it. It's almost like you're putting a razor to it. So that's why it says he wants the hair to become rough. And the only way the hair can become rough is if you don't touch it. But every day you, like KG, brother KG got the mini puff going. The only way it can look like the mini puff is if you keep the pick going through it every day. But if brother don't put that pick through that in a couple of weeks, it's gonna be, it's gonna stiffen up. It's gonna get bristled up, and it's gonna look pretty rough. And then we can tell that brother is on his Nazarite journey because the hair ain't been touched. Okay, but that's the difference though. So just because he said, hey, no razor to it, doesn't mean you can still throw gel in it, make it look all pretty and everything. It means, hey, to this vow, it means don't touch your hair at all, women and men. So women, if you're going to vow yourself to do a Nazarite, your hair going to get looking pretty rough. You're going to go to work and they're going to be like, what's going on here? You're going through some things. Yeah, I'm going through some changes. Just some changes that you don't know about. All right? But that's the seriousness of the vow, though. The seriousness of the vow is doing something. What's the word? Break down the word vow again. What's the seriousness of the vow? Give them the vow.
Vow is to promise, positively to do or give something to the Most High.
So you're making a vow. You're giving something to the Most High, and you don't care what nobody else thinks. So if you're starting to look a little rough over your journey, people gonna start asking questions. Hey, this is between me and the Most High. It don't got nothing to do with you. Number 6 and 6.
We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 6.
Honestly, too, that's what makes you special. That's what makes you separate from everybody else. The word separate means holy. Okay, somewhat. That's what makes you different from everybody else, because you say, hey, I can do this. The average person won't be able to do that. Average person ain't, oh, man, I love my hair too much, or I love the way I look. They won't be able to make that vow. So that's what makes you different. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 6. And it reads, all the days that he separated himself unto the Most High, he shall come at no dead body. He shall not make himself unclean for his father, or for his mother, for his brother, or for his sister, when they die, because the consecration of the Most High is upon his head.
So it says, no matter what. So if you vow to become a Nazarite, and you say, all right, my vow is for 20 days. Or my vow is for 30 days. And you say, I'm going to do this for 30 days. But if your sister dies within that 30 days and you're making this vow, you're not to come to her funeral. You're not to come across the dead body, just for the simple fact he says, no. You already vowed yourself to become a Nazarite. And anyway, like I tell you guys all the time, is that they taught you to get accustomed to funerals. Funerals are just like a monetary gain. All right? Funerals ain't no different than everything else you do. Why? And why do I say that? Is because the Most High has told us the moment you come across a dead body, that body is to be buried that same day. All right? And then with America, they reserving the body for 2 weeks to get family to come in and hang out and see the body. So the body is already unclean anyway. After the body goes, after 1 day, it's totally unclean.
Didn't he have James Brown for like 2 months?
Did they? What? I don't know. Say it again now.
Yeah, I'm serious, man.
James Brown.
James Brown, because it was a battle over.
A battle over James Brown, and they had his body on reserve for 2 months.
I want to say that wrong.
That's amazing. Let's go to Deuteronomy 21 and 23. Deuteronomy 21 and 23. But he says, no matter what, you make this vow. If somebody dies, your mom, your dad, your sister, your brother, you're not to attend the funeral. That's if your vow is strong enough. If you say this is the vow that I'm doing, okay? But you're not to attend the funeral. You're not to come across a dead body. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Numbers.
No, Deuteronomy 21 and 23.
Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 23. It says, his body shall not remain all night upon the tree, but thou shalt in any wise bury him that day.
So the body should not remain all night upon the tree. So just like a body, if one of us die, don't go take it to the mortuary and let it remain there all night, all week. Bury him that night. Something happened to one of us, we die. Hey, we bury him that night. It ain't no let's go save him. Let's go give America a chance to make $12,000 off this funeral. Because that's what happens when you reserve the body. They hold it. You got to pay for funeral costs, coffin. And then that's not even including how much money the family members pay in order to get there to that state to see the funeral. So they're making so much money off their family when it comes to the funeral. All right. Verse 8, Numbers 6 and 8.
We're in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, verse 8. It says, all the days of his separation he is holy unto the Most High.
So when you separate yourselves, that makes you holy. That makes you holy. That's when you say, hey, I'm holy unto the Most High. I separated myself. All right? I know John Boy got a song that said the word holy means separate, something like to that nature, but this is where he's getting that from. You separate yourself, you become holy. Verse 9.
Verse 9. And if any man die very suddenly by him, he had defiled the head of his consecration, then he shall shave his head in the day of his cleansing. On the 7th day shall he shave it.
So if it says if a man die around you suddenly, so you didn't try to be around his dead body, then you need to shave your head suddenly. Go ahead.
We're in verse 10. It says, and on the 8th day he shall bring 2 turtles or 2 young pigeons to the priest to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. And the priest shall offer the one for a sin offering, and the other for a burnt offering, and make an atonement for him, for that he sinned by the dead, and shall hallow his head that same day.
So it says, so if something like this do happen to you, you make a sin offering to the Most High. All right, even though it wasn't your fault and the body just become dead upon you, all right, you make a sin offering. Okay, and after the same day that you cut your hair, you make a sin offering. All right, go ahead, verse 12.
Verse 12. And he shall consecrate unto the Most High the days of his separation, and shall bring a lamb of the first year for a trespass offering. But the days that were before shall be lost, because his separation was defiled.
So if you had a journey of 90 days and you got all the way to 75 days and a dead body come upon you, you're to cut your hair, bring a sin offering, and then those days are lost. You're to start over because you were defiled. Okay, go ahead.
We're in Numbers chapter 6 verse 13. It says, and this is the law of the Nazarite. When the days of his separation are fulfilled, he shall be brought unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall offer his offering unto the Most High. One he lamb of the first year without blemish for a burnt offering, and one ewe lamb of the first year without blemish for a sin offering, and one ram without blemish for peace offering.
So once you fulfill your Nazarite journey and you make it to those days, then you bring 3 offerings to the Most High: burnt offering, all right, a sin offering, and a peace offering. All right, you bring 3 offerings, all right, to the Most High. Okay, and that's once your days are fulfilled. Verse 14 or verse 15.
Verse 15. And a basket of unleavened bread, cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, and wafers of unleavened bread anointed with oil, and their meat offering and their drink offering. And the priest shall bring them before the Most High, and shall offer his sin offering.
All right, and it says in a basket of unleavened bread, cakes of fine flour mingled with oil, wafers of unleavened bread. Okay, so these are the different things: a meat offering and a drink offering. So you bring a drink offering, a meat offering, and some type of bread offering, all right, to the Most High. Those are your offerings. Okay, go ahead. Verse 16.
Verse 16, it says, and the priest shall bring them, and the priest shall bring them before the Most High, and shall offer his sin offering and his burnt offering. And he shall offer the ram for a sacrifice of peace offering unto the Most High. With the basket of unleavened bread, the priest shall offer also his meat offering and his drink offering. And the Nazarite shall shave the head of his separation at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and shall take the hair of the head of his separation and put it in the fire which is under the sacrifice of the peace offering.
So it says after your journey, You can shave your head, or you can keep it. It's really on you. You can shave it, all right, as a burnt offering. Okay, you shave it and then you can burn it as a burnt offering, or you can keep the hair. Go ahead. You keep the hair though. You're basically saying I'm a Nazarite from here on out. You shave it, then you say, all right, my journey's over. Now I'm going to go back to eating my grapes and drinking my strong liquor. But if you keep the hair, then you say, you know what, I'm just going to do away with the strong liquor and all that other stuff from here on out because I'm just going to keep this hair. All right, go ahead.
We're in verse 19. It says, and the priest shall take the sod and shoulder of the ram, and one unleavened cake out of the basket, and one unleavened wafer, and shall put them upon the hands of the Nazarite, after the hair of his separation is shaven.
So remember, there were 3 Nazarites for life. Who? Y'all know? Samson.
Paul.
John the Baptist. And who else? No, not Paul. For life. Who was the third person? Samson, John the Baptist, Samuel. All right. Those are 3 Nazarites for life. Okay. So of course we can't be like them, but like I said, you can become a Nazarite, or you can become a Nazarite for the rest of your life. So say if we start the Nazarite journey next week, and you say, you know what? Now you can become at least a Nazarite for the remainder of your life, or you can become a Nazarite for a remainder for a certain period of days. Okay. Finish that out. Verse 20.
We're in verse 20. It says, Numbers chapter 6, verse 20, it says, and the priest shall wave them for a wave offering before the Most High. This is holy for the priest. With the wave breast and and the heave shoulder, and after that the Nazarite may drink wine. This is the law of the Nazarite who hath vowed, and of his offering unto the Most High for his separation. Beside that his hand shall get according to the vow which he vowed. So he must do after the law of his separation.
Okay. So the Nazarite that vowed, all right, these are the things that you get according to your vow. All right. But it says, so a Nazarite during his journey, you're to abstain from grapes, any type of grapes. All right. All right. Strong wine, intoxicating drinks. You're to stay away from dead bodies, and you're not to cut your hair. You're not even to touch the hair. Okay? So you remember when we was reading in Maccabees when it says, hey, our people need to be restored because we've been a decayed state of people, right? And it says we brought in the Nazarites who had been accomplished in their days. Let's find out in the Bible who these Nazarites are that were accomplished in their days. Let's go to Jeremiah 35:2. So it says, hey, we are at a decayed estate, our people. We're doing bad, but we're going to bring in the priests. We're going to celebrate the first fruits. We're going to pay our tithes. And then we're going to bring in the Nazarites who were accomplished in their days. All right? That's the only way we're going to be able to restore ourselves. Let's figure out who these people were that were accomplished. 35:2.
We're in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 35, verse 2. And it reads, go into the house of the Rechabites, and speak unto them, and bring them into the house of the Most High, into one of the chambers, and give them wine to drink.
So it says, go into the house of the Rechabites, and bring them into the house of the Most High, and give them wine to drink. Verse 3.
Verse 3, then I took Jezaniah, the son of Jeremiah, the son of Habazaniah, and his brethren, and all his sons, and the whole house of the Rechabites. And I brought them into the house of the Most High, into the chambers of the son of Hannah, the sons of Igdali, a man of the Most High, which was by the chamber of the princes, which was above the chamber of the Maaseiah, the son of Shallum. the keeper of the door.
You don't know no better. You think it says the chamber of Messiah and Shalom. But no, it's not that. That's not it. Don't get it twisted now. All right, that's not it. Verse 5.
Verse 5. And I set before the sons of the house of the Rechabites pots full of wine and cups. And I said unto them, drink ye wine.
So you remember in verse 2 it says, hey, go grab the Rechabites and bring them to the house of the Most High and give them wine to drink. And then right here it says, hey, I set pots of wine in front of the Rechabites and gave them cups and told them, drink wine. Verse 6.
Verse 6. But they said, we will drink no wine.
Rechabites said, we ain't drinking no wine. I don't care about y'all bringing together this party and putting all this pot of wine in front of us. We ain't drinking no wine. Go ahead.
Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father commanded us, saying, ye shall drink no wine, neither ye nor your sons forever.
So it says, our father commanded us, saying we should drink no wine, neither your sons forever. So what the word obey mean? Command. Okay, you remember the Most High says, I'm going to command you to come away from your iniquities. Okay. But the Rechabite says, hey, our father commanded us not drink no wine. Okay, and commanded for our sons not to do so forever. Verse 7.
Verse 7. Neither shall ye build house, nor sow seed, nor plant vineyard, nor have any. But all your days ye shall dwell in tents, that ye may live many days in the land where ye be strangers. Thus have we obeyed the voice of Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father, in all that he had charged us, to drink no wine all our days, we, our wives, sons, nor our daughters.
So the Rechabites say whole families, not just the men, the whole family, sons, daughters, wives, they were all no wine drinkers. Why? Because they said our father commanded us for us never to do this. Skip down to verse 12.
We're in Jeremiah chapter 35 verse 12. Says, then came the word of the Most High unto Jeremiah, saying, thus saith the Most High of hosts, the Ahia of Israel, go and tell the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, will ye not receive instruction to hearken unto my words, saith the Most High?
So he said, go tell Judah, the inhabitants of Jerusalem, to see if they will receive my instructions and hearken to my words. What words is he talking about? Go ahead.
Verse 14. The words of Jonadab, the son of Rechab.
So the same words that was given to the Rechabites. He says, y'all not going to hearken to these words. The same words that the Rechabites were commanded to follow. Y'all not going to follow these? Read 35 and 6 again.
We're in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 35, verse 6. It says, but they said, we will drink no wine, for Jonadab, the son of Rechab, our father commanded us, saying.
Those are the words. Those are the words. The commandments right here from Rechab saying, we will drink no wine. Okay, now go back down and read where we was at.
We're in verse 14. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 35. It says, the words of Jonadab, the son of Rechab, that he commanded his sons not to drink wine, are performed, for unto this day they drink none, but obey their father's commandment. Notwithstanding I have spoken unto you, rising early, and speaking, but ye hearken not unto me. I have sent also unto you all my servants, the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, return ye now every man from his evil way, and amend your doings, and go not after their gods to serve them. And ye shall dwell in the land which I have given to you and to your fathers. But ye have not inclined your ear, nor hearkened unto me. Because the sons of Jonadab, the son of Rechab, have performed the commandment of their father, which he commanded them. But this people had not hearkened unto me.
So it says that Rechab, his kids, they performed the commandments of the father, which he had commanded them, but these people had not hearkened to me. All right. What people are he talking about? The people of Israel, Judah. In verse 13, he says, go tell the men of Judah. So the men of Judah, they ain't hearken to me, but the children of the Rechabites, they commanded, they was commanded to follow something, and they hearkened. All right. Verse 17.
When Jeremiah chapter 35 verse 17 it says, therefore, thus saith the Most High, a higher of hosts, the power of Israel, behold, I will bring upon Judah and upon all the inhabitants of Jerusalem all the evil that I have pronounced against them, because I have spoken unto them, but they have not heard, and I have called unto them, but they have not answered.
So he says he's come out and spoke to all of Israel, all Judah, all the inhabitants, and pronounced against them, but they have not heard. Neither have they even answered. Go ahead.
Verse 18, and Jeremiah said unto the house of the Rechabites, thus saith the Most High host, the power of Israel, because ye have obeyed the commandment of Jonadab your father, and kept all his precepts, and done according unto all that he hath commanded you. Therefore, thus saith the Most High of hosts, the power of Israel, Jonadab the son of Rechab shall not want a man to stand before me forever.
Nobody will ever stand in front of the Most High when it comes to the Rechabites, because they followed the commandments. No other man, no other God will stand in front of them. No other man, no other God is going to trick them to drink wine. Nobody else is going to trick them to come away from their vow. And like I say, you might go on your vow and say, all right, I'm going to do this, but then you're going to have so many people telling you, you tripping. You doing what? You in the cold. You're going to hear so much, stuff. You can't touch your hair. You can't do what? Your cousin just died. You ain't coming, what? Who told you that? You know what I'm saying? So you're going to hear so much stuff to where people are going to try to get in front of the Most High and make you come away from your vow that you just put forth. But you got to stay strong. This is how you turn yourself over from the world. You don't let the flesh guide you no more. So if you make a promise to the Most High, and if a family member dies, now you got flesh, or am I going to stick to the spirit? It's that easy. I made a promise. Am I going to stick to it? Or is the flesh going to pull me out of it and then I'm going to just start over? But now you're that person we were talking about in the beginning when it says you're not going to be prepared. What makes you think you can keep starting over your journey, and then the Messiah comes and you're going to be the foolish ones without the oil on the lamp? Or you're going to be the one that he gave the talent to and you just kept it in the earth. You didn't go do nothing with it. You didn't go produce it. You don't want to be one of them two people. No oil, or the one that then produces his talents. You just sat around with it. So you need to separate yourself and start doing according to these precepts, not what everybody else is doing. Don't follow the world. And right now the world, they made their vow. Guess what their vow is? Religions. All these different religions you see your friends and family members a part of. Oh, I'm a Christian. And they go hard Christians. You can't tell them nothing. They made their vow to that. They made their vow to follow that. They promised that they will walk in those customs and do those customs. But this is the vow right here, according to the Bible, that the Most High says, if you want to make a vow to me, this is it right here. There's no other vows in the Bible outside of this, and then vowing yourself to the Messiah. And we talked about that in the beginning. You start off by making a relationship with the Messiah. That way when he comes, you're not scrambling trying to get ready. But then while you're in the flesh waiting on him, this is your vow that you make. Go to Amos 2:6. But why is it not happening today? Why is it when we go out there and you speak to somebody about a Nazarite, and then you talk to somebody about a Nazarite vow and they look at you funny? Why is it not happening today? We just read it. What did they do to the Rechabites? The people that they knew that was making vows to the Most High. They tried to go take them a pot of wine and say, drink. We don't like what y'all doing. We need y'all to drink some of this to become like us. And that's what's happened in our day. Over time and over time, they slowly got rid of the Nazarites because everybody was doing what? Making people shave their heads. You can't get a job nowadays unless you're shaved, clean cut. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of jobs, a lot of different places have made you go against these customs. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Amos, chapter 2, verse 6. And it reads, Thus saith the Most High, for 3 transgressions of Israel, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they sold the righteous for silver, and the poor for a pair of shoes.
Okay. So it says that he has 3 transgressions against Israel. Punishment thereof, because they sold their righteous for silver. So you remember the talents he gave the one? The one, what did the one do with his talent? He went and put it in the earth. So he sold his righteous that the Most High, the Messiah gave him, and went and sold it for silver. Let me go give my righteous to my 1 talent to the exchangers, so I can get something from it instead of going and producing like the Most High. And that's kind of what you do. You either sell, you either take the talents that he give you and flourish with them, or you take your talents and boggle them up and do what they want you to do. You sell your talents to them, trade them to them for their talents. And now you're walking after the ways of Babylon instead of the Messiah. Skip down to verse 10.
We're in Amos chapter 2 verse 10. It says, also I brought you up from the land of Egypt, and led you 40 years through the wilderness, to possess the land of the Amorite. And I raised up your sons for prophets, and your and your young men for Nazarites. Is it not even thus, O ye children of Israel, saith the Most High? But ye gave the Nazarites wine to drink, and commanded the prophets, saying, prophesy not.
So this is what happened. Over time, they came to the prophets and said, y'all stop prophesying. We don't want to hear that. We're going to bring in these religions and bring in our shenanigans. We don't want to hear the prophets. We don't want to hear this truth. And then, by the way, give all these Nazarites something to drink. They too accomplished. We need to trick them and make them drink. That way everybody can be the same. So Most High said, I got a problem with this because we no longer have Nazarites. Y'all taking our Nazarites out of here. And then nobody else has been taught to become a Nazarite. That's why you don't see it. We might be the only ones on this mission. But then we might open up the door and the eyes to other people to say, hey, what are y'all doing? What is it that y'all taking so serious? And well, this is the vow that the Most High has a problem with. He has 3 transgressions for Israel because this is no longer happening. That's what he just said. I got 3 transgressions of Israel and 4 because y'all have taken away my Nazarites and y'all no longer listen to my prophets. So you guys, that's why I wanted to go over this. We call ourselves Nazarites without walls. We already went over the first lesson. Here's the second one. Now, tonight we go over our journey. And for this group, you know, that says, well, you can either be a Nazarite for life. Well, we can't be that because it didn't start. But if a parent, like with Samuel and like with Samson and like with John the Baptist, if the 2 parents, right when the baby is in the womb, and they say, hey, you know what? We're going to stay away from strong drinks, no grapes. We're going to make this baby a Nazarite for life. And you start right there while the baby's in the womb. Now that baby has the opportunity to be a Nazarite for life. Okay? But if that don't happen, now you can start right now today and say, well, I want to start my Nazarite journey. And then you make your vow. Then we do the vow and you do it and you accomplish it. Okay? And then you do whatever after that. Or you can say, hey, you know what? I'm going to make my vow and start my Nazarite journey right now. And I'm just never going to drink strong drink again. I'm probably never going to cut my hair again. Dead body thing, that's on you. But like I teach y'all through the laws, a body is unclean anyway after the first day. So you shouldn't be going to funerals, Nazarite or not, 7 days later. Just like the red meat. Just like the meat that the Bible tells you. He says, all my meat is clean. He tells you that the meat is clean. He tells you what meat is clean. But then he says, hey, if you go to the forest and you kill and hunt meat, in order for it to be clean, you drain all the blood out of it right now. That's the only way it's going to be clean. If you don't drain all the blood out of that meat right now, it's considered unclean. So these are choices you have to make. Okay? I can only just give you the information and the laws as the Bible speaks of, but you sooner or later have to make that decision and say, all right, well, that's according to the law, that's wrong. So if you can't kill your own meat at this time and drain all the blood out of it, or drive up to Mexico and get some of their brown meat, then there's certain things that you might want to start making a strong decision on. Because any meat you buy in the store has blood in it. Chicken, ground beef, the moment you crack it open to cook it, the blood comes out of it. According to the laws, That's unclean meat. All right. So what we'll do is now that we know the vow of a Nazarite, you separate yourselves and you make a promise to the Most High. You say, I'm going to stick with this promise. And the Messiah did it. That's why we went over that. The Messiah said, hey, by the way, now that I'm out of here, I'm going to make my vow not to touch this stuff and do this stuff. And he says, until the kingdom comes. So it lets you know I'm not going to say you need to do that in order to get into the kingdom. But what's the reason when the Messiah says, hey, I'm not, all right, this is what I'm going to become until I get in the kingdom. So obviously, he did that because it was important. It was important for him to change at that time and not touch the fruit of the vine again until he got into the kingdom. So obviously, some point in your life, you got to do the same thing because what? It says we are like him. You are to walk in his shoes. All right? So tonight, this is what I come up with the group, and we can talk about it. But having a clear understanding of the journey might have to be a little different for the women than the men. All right, and y'all can talk to me on this. We can say, okay, well, what's fair? See, the men, we can go a little longer on our journey. Why? Well, no, the reason why a man can go a little longer on their journey because the longer their hair lock up, if he decides he wants to cut it, he can just cut it. But a woman, I'm not saying a woman, y'all got some long hair now. I'm not. The longer y'all go with the loxation, it's going, you know. So the vow for the woman and the man, I'm thinking should be a little different, just for the simple fact, women, our hair, men, we can cut ours. All right, point blank. Okay, but I even thought about braiding. Maybe a woman can braid her hair and keep it kind of locked in that nature without touching it. You know. So a woman says, all right, well, I want to make my vow, and she just braids it up and then just don't touch it for that time period. That's the only thing I can think of for the woman. Okay? And without her losing her hair. Okay? And for the group, I did some researching and they showed that back in the day when they were doing, they started messing around with it and making mockeries, kind of sort of what the Nazarites did. And I think they said the minimum day was like 30 days. But these people wasn't serious people though. Oh, I want to be a Nazarite. Here, let me go for 30 days to see what I can do. That's nothing serious to the Most High, if you ask me. That's not a legit promise. That's a game. Okay, anybody can do 30 days of anything. That's just real talk. Okay, but to make a legit promise, I was thinking that maybe, I was thinking half a year at one point. All right, but let's keep it realistic. And I was thinking maybe 100 days. 100 days would be a good number to say, hey, I did this for 100 days. It's an even number. It's a good number. And now I am now a Nazarite because I took 100 days and vowed and promised myself not to do these 3 things. And I made it. Okay? And like I say, women, I think maybe that's the best ideal is maybe if you say, hey, I want to do this, you braid your hair. And it just has to stay braided for that full 100 days. You can't take it out. No matter how it starts looking, it's going to get rough. Because you braid your hair, it's going to start looking rough too after a few days. It's going to start looking, you know, frizzy. And you're like, I want to take it out and redo it. Nope. Because once it's done, you can't re-comb it again or nothing. That makes sense. All right? So them head wraps, hey, them virtuous woman head wraps are going to be coming into hand, right? So that's what we'll do. We'll set it at 100 days. And I'm going to start mine on Monday, you guys. On Monday, I'm going to start my journey. I'm just telling y'all. I don't know when anybody else is going to start theirs, but on Monday, I'm going to start my journey. No more grapes, no more beer, no more strong drink. Just straight done. And then at the end of the 100 days, whoever says, all right, I complete my 100 days, you remember it's talking about all the different offerings? Mm-hmm. Of course, we can't do those same offerings, but what I would like from this group is over your 100-day journey, you think about 2 things that you can give up for good. 2 things that you know you do that's a sin towards the Most High. And it's something that's hard for you to give up. But over your 100-day journey, when you say, all right, I'm done with my journey, if you're one of those people that's going to cut your hair or whatever, when you cut that hair, you put those 2 sin offerings that you're giving up along with the hair. That will be your sacrifice. That makes sense, everybody? We all have to start giving up some of these things. And like I said the Day of Atonement, when we do our feast days, we can't wait for those days. We have to start doing this type of stuff during the year. And then when those feast days and those holy days come up, it just helps. Okay, so we'll make it a 100-day journey. So if you say, hey, Ed, all right, I'm going to start my Nazarite journey. Now, anybody, before you start your Nazarite journey, let me know. You remember it says that there's a priest that you go to. I'm that guy. So you have to come to me and tell me when you're starting your journey. And then I can write it down. And we can keep track of it. And then we can analyze your situation. All right? And you have to be honest, though. You mess around and you have a drink. You got to come and say, hey, Brother Ed, I had a drink. I messed up. Got to start over. And trust, I'll know if you touch the hair or not. All right? That's common sense. I'll know if you touch your hair. And then it's the same with the dead body. You have to be honest. This is your vow to the Most High. So he's watching. So you can't trick him. So you got to be honest with him. All right, so we'll go 100 days. And then after the 100 days, for the graduation period, you bring in your 2 sins. You say, hey, these are the 2 sins I'm giving up. And then outside the 2 sins, you give up a peace offering. Remember it said a peace offering? And a peace offering is not a sin, but it's something that you really, really, really like. I told you guys to do this on the Day of Atonement. So you have 3 things to give up. 2 sins, and then something that you really, really, really like. So say if you got a car and it's got music and it's got all that stuff, you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give up the music out of my car and just roll with the natural beats. Something like that. You give it up. So on that day when your 100 days is up, you give up 2 sins, and then you give up something that you know that's materialistic or Babylonian, and you say, I'm going to give that up as my peace offering. I hope y'all writing this down, because that's the part of the journey. And we're going to be starting the website. Brother Kurt is getting the website going. We should have the website going here in the next couple of weeks. And we'll have all this information that we're talking about, the journey of a Nazarite, how do I become a Nazarite, also on the website. All right? So hopefully that was some good enough information for you guys. You now have your journey, your promise, if you want to attempt this, to do this. And it's going to show a lot. It's going to show a lot about you as a person. If you say, okay, I'm going to promise myself to the Most High, I'm going to do it, and you do it, then it shows a lot about yourself. But if you're one of those people, you say, I'm going to do this, and then after 2 weeks, you broke, and you got to keep starting over, then that's going to show you a lot about yourself as an individual. And the Most High don't want somebody that has to keep starting over. He wants somebody that's prepared and ready. That's why we went over those precepts that we went over in the beginning. If you're not prepared when he comes, you're not going to make it. He's going to say, hey, I don't know you. Who are you? You said Jesus. I'm stepping on your head. He don't know you. If you saying Jesus when he come back, he don't know you. You speaking in English tongue? Jesus, no, he don't know you. Because why? When he comes back, he's speaking in Hebrew tongue. He's going to be looking for the word shalom. You know? He's going to be looking for Yahwadah. Where's Yahwadah? Okay, there they go. Oh, you know? That's how he's going to be speaking. He's going to be expecting you to somewhat understand. Alright? So we'll close it out and say Shabbat Shalom. All praises to the Most High Ahaya. And we'll go ahead and pray it out.